afternoon. Well, I've got another couple of questions that I'm going to try and answer together. When did we allow evil to take over our lives? Well, in one sense, historically, I suppose, I don't know. But the classic example of this is in the life of every child. Let's just consider what happens. We all talk of the innocence of a newborn baby before it knows its name or anything. It just lies there gurgling, doesn't it? And then gradually, what happens? The parents usually start talking to it and giving it an identity, saying your name such and such a thing, this is mummy and this is daddy. And so the child begins to learn that there's it and somebody else, duality, two. And then a bit later on, would you like your rattle, or would you like a sweetie or something? So the child begins to say yes or no. Another step into what's called duality. And then gradually willfulness creeps in. I want, I don't want. And so we gradually slip into what's called separate existence, and the ego, the sense of I as separate from you, develops. And so it goes on developing throughout our lives, and the world we live in, knowing no better, encourages the process with such words as getting to know, independence and all these different things. So there we are. That's how it happens. Life becomes more and more complicated, doesn't it? Willful. We end up screaming with frustration because our parents won't let us do this or that, and storming off in a temper because we can't get our own way, or leaving half our food on the plate because we don't like it, or this and that and the other. Having to earn money in order to maintain our own separate existence. So we're each of us to blame, aren't we? When did this process happen? Well, if you look at animals, blessed creatures, it hasn't happened yet, has it? They seem to live in this state of blessed innocence all their lives, content with what life gives them. They don't grumble, they don't criticize. They're free of most of these troubles that plague people. When their time comes, they lay themselves down in peace, usually, without querying it, certainly without worrying about the future. Anyone with a dog or a cat or canary can see it for themselves. Wise man as he is, and nature as she is. Why do we die? Why are we born into this apparent world of suffering and death? Well, you can't avoid blaming yourself, can you? Although you can, if you like, blame your mother and father, blame the society you were born into, which is easier than blaming yourself, but sooner or later the responsibility comes back to me. Me. I, John Butler, am the cause of all my trouble. And the other question of course, all these questions are really connected together because all questions arise from this sense of separation. And we've just considered how separation develops in the first place. And this was obviously from a young man who likes to go out dancing and no doubt play loud music and chat with his friends. And he says, would you recommend going more into the silence when you're young or wait until time? Well, many, many years ago I learnt the words of one of the great heroes of British history, the Duke of Wellington, who said, never give advice to anybody unless you're in a position to see that it's carried out. So I'm not going to advise you, my dear. But what I will do is come back to this dear old saying, use your common sense. Because we all have an inbuilt discriminative faculty called enough. Unless we're a complete glutton, we usually reach a point when we're eating, when we've had enough. And if we go on eating beyond that, we'll get tummy ache and uncomfortable. So we usually learn that there's a natural cut-off point when we've had enough. And with most things in life, there comes a point when we've had enough. So there you are. You don't need me to advise you. Much better to just be natural and allow your own natural faculties to guide you. When you've had enough of noise, my dear, then you may turn them all to silence. With some it happens sooner than with others. So again, you must just follow your nature. And some people never learn to stop talking. They'll go on talking till the day they die and making a noise. And other people come to silence more easily. Well, that depends on the sort of person you are. By the sound of your comment, you're one of the ones that'll come to it early. Well, good for you. God bless you. And I'm sure it will lead you to ever deeper appreciation of the wonders that unfold in the depths of silence, by which the noise, it seems an extraordinary thing to say, but noise is little more but the bubbles on the surface. The deeper you go into silence, the more wonderful it is. And you've only just got to stand here now with me and let me stop talking and listen. I don't even need to use words, do I? God bless you, my dears. Be at peace until tomorrow.